The rain fell steadily over the small, quiet village that night. Most people had already shut their doors and gone to bed, but in a tiny, worn-down house at the edge of the road, an old woman named Martha was still awake. Martha lived alone and survived by selling vegetables from her small garden. She was poor, her house creaked with age, and many nights she ate only bread and soup. Yet, despite her struggles, she had a heart that was warm and kind. That evening, as the wind howled outside, Martha heard a faint knock at her door. At first, she thought it was just the wind, but the knock came again, weak and trembling. Slowly, she opened the door and was shocked to see a small girl standing there. The child looked no older than 8 years old. Her clothes were soaked from the rain, her hands were shaking, and her eyes were filled with fear. "Please, can I stay here tonight?" the girl whispered. Martha didn't ask many questions. She simply stepped aside and said gently, "Come in, child. No one should be alone in the cold." She wrapped the girl in a blanket, gave her warm soup, and let her sleep in the only bed in the house while Martha rested in an old chair beside the fire. The girl's name was Lily. She had been lost after running away from people who were mistreating her. Martha listened quietly and comforted her, promising that everything would be okay. For the next few days, Lily stayed with Martha. The old woman shared what little food she had and treated Lily like her own granddaughter. Eventually, authorities arrived after searching for the missing child, and Lily was taken to a safe home. Before leaving, she hugged Martha tightly and said through tears, "One day, I'll come back and help you, I promise." Martha smiled kindly. "Just live a good life, child. That will be enough." Years passed. Life in the village stayed mostly the same, but Martha grew older and weaker. Her garden was smaller, her house more fragile, and people rarely visited. Many villagers barely noticed her anymore. One afternoon, as the sun began to set, Martha walked slowly back from the market carrying a small bag of bread. As she turned down a quiet alley near her house, 3 rough-looking men stepped in front of her. "Hand over what you've got, old woman," one of them sneered. Martha's hands trembled as she clutched the bag. "Please, it's just bread." The men laughed cruelly and shoved her, causing her to stumble and fall to the ground. One of them raised his hand as if to strike her again. Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the alley. "Step away from her, now." The men turned around. Walking toward them was a tall woman wearing a dark jacket and carrying herself with quiet confidence. Her posture was strong, her eyes sharp and focused. Something about her presence made the air feel different, serious, controlled, powerful. One of the men scoffed, "Mind your own business." The woman didn't move. "You have 5 seconds to walk away." They laughed and stepped toward her. That was their mistake. In seconds, the alley erupted in movement. The woman moved with incredible speed and precision. One attacker was disarmed and pinned to the ground. Another was knocked down before he even understood what happened. The third tried to run but slipped and was quickly restrained. Within moments, all 3 men were helpless on the ground. The woman then rushed to Martha and gently helped her sit up. "Are you hurt?" she asked softly. Martha looked up at the stranger, confused but grateful. I'm all right, dear. Thank you." The woman smiled warmly, and for a moment her strong, disciplined expression softened. "You once helped a little girl who knocked on your door during a storm." Martha's eyes widened. The woman continued, "You gave her food, a warm bed, and kindness when she had nothing." Martha studied her face carefully, and slowly realization dawned. "Lily?" she whispered. The woman nodded, her eyes shining with emotion. "Yes, I never forgot what you did for me." Lily explained that after leaving the village, she grew up in a safe home and worked hard to build a future. Inspired by Martha's courage and kindness, she decided to dedicate her life to protecting others. Eventually, she joined the military and became part of an elite team, training for years until she became a Navy SEAL. "I learned strength," she said, "but you taught me something even more important: kindness." Martha's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't do much," she said gently. "You did everything," Lily replied. Soon, the authorities arrived to take the attackers away. As the street grew quiet again, Lily helped Martha walk home. When they reached the small house, Lily looked at its worn walls and fragile roof. "You shouldn't have to live alone anymore. Let me help you now." From that day forward, Lily kept her promise. She repaired Martha's home, made sure she had food and comfort, and visited often whenever she returned from duty. The villagers soon realized something important. A simple act of kindness, given freely to a frightened child on a stormy night, had grown into something powerful years later. Because sometimes the smallest good deed can change a life, and one day that life may return to protect yours.